Deep in space, far beyond the quiet orbit of the moon, something strange was happening. Thousands of warships were moving toward Earth. They came from every direction, like a dark storm covering the stars. Huge metal ships filled the black sky. Some were long and sharp like spears. Others were massive floating fortresses covered with heavy weapons. This was the fleet of the Galactic Empire. For many years, the Empire ruled most of the known galaxy. Thousands of alien civilizations had already fallen under their control. Their fleets were powerful. Their technology was advanced. When the Empire arrived at a planet, that world had only two choices: submit, or be destroyed. Now the Empire had come for Earth. Inside the command ship of the alien fleet, several officers watched the blue planet on a large screen. Earth looked small and peaceful compared to their giant warships. The alien commander stood quietly with his hands behind his back. "Is this the human homeworld?" he asked. "Yes, Commander," one officer replied. "Population, around 8 billion. Technology level, primitive compared to the Empire." Another officer added, "Their fleets are small. They cannot resist us." The commander nodded slowly. "To think, this small world has survived so long without joining the Empire." He turned toward the communication officer. "Send them a message." Moments later, a powerful signal reached Earth. Every satellite, every radio station, and every screen around the world suddenly showed the same message. A tall alien figure appeared. Its voice echoed across the planet. "People of Earth. This system now belongs to the Galactic Empire. You will surrender your governments and military forces immediately. Resistance will result in total destruction." Across the planet, panic spread. Cities stopped. Governments rushed into emergency meetings. Military leaders around the world stared at the giant alien fleet appearing on their space sensors. Human fleets were launched quickly. Earth's best warships moved toward the edge of the solar system. But when they saw the Empire fleet, the human commanders felt fear. The alien ships were too many. Too powerful. Too advanced. Earth could not win this fight. Inside the alien command ship, officers watched the human fleets appear on their scanners. One officer laughed. "These are their defenses." Another officer shook his head. "Humans are brave, but foolish." The alien commander looked at the small human ships moving slowly toward the Empire fleet. He felt almost disappointed. "This will be over quickly," he said. But suddenly, one of the scanning officers froze. "Commander. I am detecting something strange." "What is it?" the commander asked. "There is a large object on the dark side of Earth's moon." The command room became quiet. The officer adjusted the sensors. "At first we thought it was an asteroid, but it is moving." The commander stepped closer to the main screen. "Show me." The screen changed. A dark shape appeared behind the moon. It was massive. Bigger than any human ship ever recorded. The alien sensors tried to measure its size, but the numbers kept changing. "Impossible," one officer whispered. The object slowly moved out from the shadow of the moon. As it did, lights began appearing across its surface. Long blue energy lines glowed along its giant metal hull. Huge weapon towers rose from its armored body. Multiple launch bays opened across the ship. The alien officers stared in shock. The ship was enormous. Larger than most Empire battleships. And the scanning computers finally completed the measurement. The officer's voice trembled. "Commander, this vessel is over 10 kilometers long." Silence filled the room. The alien commander's eyes narrowed. That cannot be a human ship. But the scanners confirmed it again. Human technology. Human signals. Human design. The massive ship slowly turned toward the Empire fleet. Then something else happened. Thousands of smaller ships began launching from inside the giant vessel. Human fighters. Bombers. Drone swarms. Wave after wave poured into space. The alien officers stared in disbelief. One officer whispered quietly. "Commander, what is that thing?" The alien commander looked at the giant ship moving toward them. For the first time since the Empire arrived, he felt something unfamiliar. Concern. His voice became quiet. "That is not a normal warship." The giant vessel's engines suddenly ignited. Blinding blue light filled the space behind it. The supercarrier began moving forward. Straight toward the Empire fleet. And at that moment, the alien commander realized a terrifying truth. Earth had not been unprepared. Earth had been hiding something. Something powerful. Something dangerous. And now, humanity was finally revealing it. The giant ship moved slowly away from the shadow of the moon. For a moment, the entire battlefield became quiet. Both the alien fleet and the human fleets watched the massive vessel entering open space. The alien scanners worked quickly, trying to understand the ship. But every new result made the alien officers more confused. "Commander, the structure of the ship is extremely complex," one officer said. "Thousands of weapon systems, multiple shield generators, and hundreds of internal hangars." Another officer spoke nervously. "The energy output is far beyond anything humans should have." The alien commander stared at the screen. The ship looked like a floating fortress. Heavy armor plates covered its entire body. Massive cannons sat along its sides. Blue energy lights moved slowly across the hull like glowing rivers. And the size. It was bigger than many Imperial capital ships. "How could humans build this without anyone noticing?" the commander asked quietly. No one had an answer. Meanwhile, inside the massive ship, the atmosphere was calm. Deep inside the ship's command center, human officers sat at their stations. Large holographic screens showed the alien fleet spreading across space. Thousands of enemy ships. But the human crew looked focused. Not afraid. At the center of the room stood Admiral Marcus Hale. He was an older man with calm eyes and a steady voice. He had waited many years for this moment. "Status report," he said. A young officer looked up from her console. "Enemy fleet confirmed. Over 12,000 ships in formation." Another officer added, "Human defense fleets are moving into support positions." Admiral Hale nodded slowly. "Good." He turned and looked at the giant viewing screen showing the alien armada. For many years, the ship they stood inside had been a secret. A project hidden from the entire galaxy. Even most humans did not know about it. The ship had been built slowly, piece by piece, deep in hidden space docks behind the moon. Its purpose was simple. If Earth was ever attacked by a powerful enemy, this ship would be humanity's final shield. And its name was Aegis Titan. A massive human supercarrier. "Activate full combat systems," Hale ordered. "Bring shields to maximum. Launch all fighter wings." The crew moved quickly. Across the giant ship, thousands of systems powered up. Energy shields spread across the hull like a glowing blue dome. Massive railguns rotated into position. Missile bays opened along the sides of the ship. And inside the hangars, endless rows of human fighters waited. Suddenly, alarms sounded across the alien fleet. One scanning officer shouted, "Commander! The human vessel is powering weapons." The alien commander looked at the screen. Thousands of small ships were leaving the giant carrier. Wave after wave of fighters spread across space. "Impossible," one officer whispered. "No human fleet should be this large." The alien commander quickly gave an order. "All ships prepare for combat." The Empire fleet began moving. Long rows of alien warships turned toward the Titan. Energy weapons started charging. The alien commander raised his hand. Fire. A storm of bright energy beams shot across space. Thousands of weapons fired at the giant human ship. The blasts hit the Titan's shields with powerful explosions. Bright flashes filled the darkness. But something shocking happened. The shields did not break. They barely moved. Inside the alien command ship, officers stared at their screens. "Commander, the shields are still stable." Another officer looked terrified. "Our weapons are barely affecting it." The alien commander slowly clenched his hands. "How?" Before he could finish the sentence, something else appeared on the screen. The Titan's weapons were now active. Massive railguns began glowing along the sides of the ship. Energy gathered inside the barrels. Inside the human command center, Admiral Hale gave a calm order. "Target enemy front line. Fire." Seconds later, the first railgun shot launched. A glowing metal projectile flew through space at impossible speed. It smashed directly into an alien battleship. The ship exploded instantly. The entire alien command room went silent. Then another railgun fired. Another alien ship vanished in a massive explosion. Then another. And another. Within seconds, the battlefield began to change. The Galactic Empire had arrived to conquer Earth. But now, they were facing something they had never expected. Humanity had a weapon the galaxy had never seen. And the battle had only just begun. The battlefield exploded into chaos. Human fighters rushed forward like a swarm of metal birds. Thousands of them spread across space, flying between the giant alien warships. Blue engine trails filled the darkness. Missiles launched. Laser fire crossed the battlefield from every direction. The Galactic Empire quickly tried to reorganize. "Destroy the fighters," an alien officer shouted. Large alien cannons began firing rapidly. Bright red beams cut through space. Several human fighters were hit and exploded in small flashes of fire. But the rest kept moving. Human pilots flew with speed and precision. They moved between enemy ships, dodging heavy weapons. Small bombs attached to the hulls of alien cruisers. Seconds later. Boom! Explosions ripped through the alien ships. Meanwhile, far behind the fighters, the Aegis Titan continued moving forward. The giant supercarrier looked unstoppable. Its shields glowed bright blue as alien weapons kept hitting it again and again. But the shields refused to fall. Inside the Titan, Admiral Hale watched the battle calmly. "Tactical report," he said. A young officer spoke quickly. "Enemy fleet is attempting to surround us. Multiple capital ships approaching from 3 directions." Another officer added, "Enemy dreadnoughts preparing heavy plasma weapons." Hale nodded. "Let them come closer." The officers exchanged quick looks but trusted the admiral. Outside, the alien fleet pushed forward. Huge Imperial dreadnoughts moved toward the Titan like floating cities of steel. These ships were the pride of the Empire. Each one had destroyed entire worlds. The alien commander stared at the human supercarrier. "That ship must fall," he said coldly. "All dreadnoughts, concentrate fire." The giant alien ships began charging their largest weapons. Massive plasma cannons glowed red. Moments later, a storm of powerful blasts slammed into the Titan. The explosions were enormous. For a few seconds, the giant human ship disappeared inside clouds of fire and energy. Alien officers leaned forward. "Commander, the human ship." Suddenly the smoke cleared. The Titan was still there. Its shields flickered slightly, but they held. The alien command room went silent. One officer whispered in disbelief. "That is impossible." The alien commander's voice became darker. "Continue firing." But before the Empire fleet could attack again, the Titan responded. Along the front of the giant ship, dozens of massive railguns rotated into position. Energy ran through the weapons like lightning. Inside the human command room, Admiral Hale gave the order. Primary batteries ready? Yes, Admiral. Then fire. The Titan unleashed its full power. Dozens of railguns fired at the same time. Glowing projectiles shot across space faster than any missile. The first alien dreadnought was hit directly in the center. The impact tore the giant ship in half. Another railgun shot destroyed 2 cruisers in a single blast. More shots followed. Every hit meant another alien ship disappearing in a violent explosion. Panic began spreading through the Imperial fleet. Commander. We are losing ships rapidly. Human fighters are inside our formation. Multiple vessels destroyed. The alien commander slammed his hand on the control table. How can a primitive species build something like this? But the battle was getting worse. Human fighters were attacking from every direction. Bombers released heavy torpedoes into the sides of alien battleships. More explosions lit the darkness. Within minutes, hundreds of Empire ships were gone. And the Titan continued moving forward like an unstoppable giant. Across the galaxy, hidden observation satellites and long-range sensors were watching the battle. Alien governments that had once feared the Galactic Empire now stared in shock. One single human ship was tearing apart the most powerful fleet in the galaxy. And the battle was far from over. Back inside the alien command ship, the commander slowly realized the truth. They had made a terrible mistake. They thought Earth was weak. They thought humans were primitive. But now they understood something terrifying. Humanity had been preparing for this war for a very long time. And the Aegis Titan was only the beginning. The battlefield was no longer a battle. It was becoming a disaster for the Galactic Empire. Wrecks of alien ships floated everywhere. Broken hulls drifted slowly through space. Fires burned across damaged vessels. The once powerful Imperial fleet was losing ships every minute. Human fighters moved through the battlefield with confidence. They attacked in perfect formation, striking weak points in the alien fleet. Explosions flashed again and again. Inside the alien command ship, panic was spreading. Commander. We have lost over 3,000 ships. Multiple cruisers destroyed. Human fighters are attacking our engines. The alien commander stared at the screen in disbelief. This was supposed to be a simple invasion. A quick victory. But now the Empire fleet was being crushed. And the center of the destruction was still moving forward. The Aegis Titan. The massive supercarrier looked like a giant shadow of war. Its engines burned bright blue as it slowly advanced through the battlefield. Alien weapons continued firing at it. But the Titan's shield still held strong. Inside the human command center, Admiral Marcus Hale watched the battle reports. Enemy formation is collapsing, an officer said. Most of their fleet is retreating. Hale shook his head slowly. No retreat. The officer looked surprised. Admiral. Hale pointed toward the alien flagship on the display. If that ship escapes, the Empire will return with a larger fleet. He turned toward the weapons officer. Prepare the main cannon. For a moment, the room became quiet. Everyone knew what he meant. The Titan's most powerful weapon. A weapon that had never been used in a real battle. The weapons officer nodded. Charging the main cannon. Across the giant supercarrier, massive energy systems powered up. Deep inside the ship, huge generators began sending power toward the front section. Outside the Titan, large armored plates slowly opened. A gigantic cannon began to appear. It stretched across the front of the ship like a giant spear. Alien scanners immediately detected the massive energy surge. Inside the Imperial command ship, alarms screamed. Commander. Massive energy buildup detected on the human vessel. The alien commander turned toward the screen. What are they doing? The scanning officer looked terrified. That weapon, it is beyond anything we have seen. The alien commander's voice became urgent. All ships. Destroy that cannon before it fires. The remaining Empire ships turned their weapons toward the Titan. Hundreds of beams and missiles launched at once. The Titan's shields glowed brighter than ever. Some areas flickered under the heavy attack. But it was too late. Inside the Titan, the weapons officer spoke calmly. Main cannon fully charged. Admiral Hale looked at the alien flagship on the screen. Target the center of the fleet. He took a slow breath. Fire. Outside the ship, the giant cannon released its power. A massive beam of white-blue energy exploded forward. The beam crossed space in seconds. It hit the center of the alien fleet. For a moment, everything became silent. Then the destruction began. The alien flagship disappeared first. The beam continued moving forward, cutting through multiple ships at once. Battleships. Cruisers. Destroyers. Entire lines of Imperial vessels vanished inside the energy storm. Space lit up brighter than a star. When the light finally faded, the center of the Empire fleet was gone. Completely gone. Silence filled the battlefield. The surviving alien ships stopped moving. The once proud fleet of the Galactic Empire had been broken. Inside the alien command ship, the commander slowly sat down. His fleet was destroyed. His mission had failed. And the humans had done it with a single ship. Meanwhile, inside the Titan, the crew watched the battlefield quietly. Thousands of destroyed enemy ships floated in space. The war was over. Humanity had won. But Admiral Hale knew something the galaxy did not. This victory was only part of the plan. Because the Aegis Titan was never meant to stay. Silence slowly returned to space. Only the remains of the battlefield were left behind. Thousands of broken alien ships drifted across the dark sky. Pieces of metal floated slowly where powerful warships once stood. The once unstoppable fleet of the Galactic Empire was gone. Destroyed. All by one ship. The Aegis Titan. Across the galaxy, long-range sensors and hidden observation stations had been watching the battle. Alien governments replayed the recordings again and again. They could not believe what they were seeing. A young civilization from a small blue planet had just defeated the strongest Empire fleet ever assembled. And they did it with a single warship. Fear began spreading across the stars. Some alien leaders whispered a dangerous question. If humans could build one ship like this, how many more could they have? Back near Earth, the battlefield remained quiet. The Titan floated calmly among the wreckage. Human fighters slowly returned to the massive hangars inside the Supercarrier. Small ships disappeared back into the giant vessel like birds returning to a mountain cave. Inside the Titan's command center, the crew looked tired but proud. One officer spoke softly. All enemy signals have stopped. Another officer checked the scanners. Remaining alien ships are retreating outside the system. Admiral Marcus Hale stood in front of the large viewing screen. The screen showed Earth in the distance. Blue. Peaceful. Still safe. For a moment, the Admiral said nothing. Then he nodded slowly. Mission complete. The officers around him exchanged looks. One of them finally asked the question everyone was thinking. Admiral, what happens now? Hale looked back at the battlefield. Floating wrecks. Burning fragments of Empire ships. This victory would change the galaxy. Every alien civilization would now know one thing. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was dangerous. And that was exactly why the Titan could not stay. Hale spoke calmly. Begin Phase 2. The crew quickly returned to their stations. Across the giant supercarrier, systems began activating again. But this time it was not weapons. It was something else. Something secret. Deep inside the ship, hidden engines started powering up. Strange energy signals appeared across the Titan's hull. Outside the ship, space itself began to shimmer. On distant alien sensors, scientists watched in confusion. What is that ship doing? It is generating unknown energy readings. Is it preparing another weapon? But it was not a weapon. Inside the Titan's control room, the navigation officer spoke. Jump drive charging. Another officer added, space distortion increasing. Admiral Hale gave one final look toward Earth. Humans had defended their home. But revealing their strongest weapon had consequences. If the galaxy feared humanity too much, another war would come. So the Titan would disappear. Hidden again. Waiting. Jump drive ready, the officer said. Hale gave the final command. Engage. Outside the ship, space bent and twisted around the Titan. Blue energy surrounded the massive supercarrier. The stars behind it stretched like lines of light. Then suddenly, the giant ship vanished. No explosion. No signal. No trace. One moment it was there. The next moment it was gone. Across the galaxy, alien sensors searched for the ship. But they found nothing. The most powerful human warship ever built had disappeared into deep space. And no one knew where it had gone. Only one thing was certain. Somewhere in the darkness of the galaxy, the Aegis Titan was still out there. Waiting. And if anyone ever threatened Earth again, humanity's secret supercarrier would return.